Hey everyone, Jim DeGram with RC Groups, and today we're looking at some Fat Shark goggles. Holy cow, these are awesome. Key features are wireless head tracking, digital video recording, that's very important, 5.8 receiver, built-in cooling fan, adjust to your eyes, of course, optimized 800 by 480 optics, which are really nice, and it has a selectable 16 by 9 aspect ratio, which will never be switched off again. It's awesome. They have a couple of foam padded options in there, and it has a mini HDMI input, so you could run this with your Connex or even your computer, whatever it is you want to input in there. It comes with an 1800 LiPo battery. I love that it has the LEDs on the top and a linear dipole antenna, which is kind of gratis with something like this. There's more to discuss, and let's do that now. So prior to this unit, I had the Focal V2s, and those actually took me away from my previous headset, and that was all I was using. So here we see what you get in the box, a couple of different foam pieces. And then I thought I might jump in the studio and let you take a look at the goggles, kind of do a video tour of what I like. So here are the Focal DVRs, and here are the menus that are accessible. This antenna does not come with the Focal DVR, but I do recommend an antenna like this to get the best reception. That's what you're going to have to do. They're not expensive. So let's look at the top. We have our menus here. We have the channel select, volume select, all very accessible. We have a display, which you can, while you're in the goggles, change your contrast and brightness. And then on the right side, we have the head tracking button, the 5-way DVR switch, and of course the volume switch again. So these are all things that you're supposed to get to while you're in the goggles. We'll flip it over. Everything looks pretty usual under here, all the standard things. The one thing that is extra is that HDMI input, which makes these special, I think, or at least to me, it makes them more valuable. And then we have a switch there that will allow you to turn the receiver on and off in case you were HDMIing in. And then I thought it would be good for you to have some visuals. So you can hit pause now, and if you needed to figure out what was what, this would allow you to see everything on the goggles. You can also find this in the PDF on the Horizon site. That's where I found it. This is just a screenshot from there. So once you start using everything, of course, you'll know exactly where it is, what it does, and why you need it. But there you go. Hope that was helpful. So now let's take a look at the battery. These batteries, like I say, they usually last me a whole session out in the field. And I love that it has an LED on the top to tell me my charge level. And we're at 2. I would probably charge that at 2. This is a balance tab that connects into this slot. And I'm sure most of us know, one-handed there, that is for your fan, and that's operated by the button right here. I always audibly listen to, is that a word, audibly? I'm sure it is. I listen to the fan to make sure it's running before I get going and make sure it's hot. The next question is, Jim, where's the DVR? Well, you use a micro SD card, does not come with the goggles, and the DVR slot is right between the eyes. So you'll slide this in here and click it to make sure it's locked in. There is a ledge right there that could fool you into thinking it's in and it's not. Also, when you take it out by depressing it, keep your finger over it because it will literally jump 3 feet out of the goggles, and that would not be okay if you were out in the field somewhere and then you had to find your micro SD card. So the next question is, how do I operate it? Well, I'm going to make sure the SD card is in the goggles, and then I'm going to plug them in. And then there will be a red light, and this light will indicate that the DVR has a card in the slot. So there we go. To turn it on, we're going to quick press this button that I've already described, and the light will come on. And that means you're ready to record. At this point, you can put these on your head and know that you could record. Now, there's no on-screen display telling you if you're recording or not, and that would be awesome. But if you push the button once, it will beep, which I'm doing. I'm now looking in the screen to see if it's any indicator, which there's not, but the red light will flash. Now you'll hear the beep, so that will be your a way for you to know that you're recording. And then when you're done, I think it's a 2-second long hold, and that will go beep beep, and that will let you know that your DVR recording is stopped. And I did use this in the field. I did use this while flying, and then I used it on some other planes, and I have that footage to show you. And so these are some of the features that I love about these goggles. Everything's accessible. It has added features. It has the 16:9 aspect ratio. Oh, and another favorite right here, this screen actually allows you to go look at the channels and look at signal strength. And so you can visually see what is the strongest signal. So I've just turned on one of my FPV units, and that is not the right channel. So I'm going to quick click, and it's going to scan everything in this frequency and show me the strongest frequency. And then it will actually pick the frequency. And so the other thing is, it is now showing me 5865. And I always know what I'm broadcasting on. And so I know that that is the right channel to be on, and everything's good. And it makes me feel more secure that I'm on the right channel. I have all kinds of different goggles and monitors that do this different ways. This is currently my favorite. And that's just one of the reasons these are now my #1 goggles. This is what I fly everything in. I love that it's the modules pop off. So if I want to go 1.3, which I am, I can put 1.3 on here and still DVR it. If I want to go back to 5.8, I can do that. The head tracking is located on the left. You can change that out. There's a lot you can do. Also, I wear glasses. Some goggles don't work for me. These goggles look great in both eyes. And I'm not sure why they're so awesome, but they are. These are my #1 goggles. These are what I take out. If I'm wearing goggles, these are what I have on now, the Focal DVRs. Let's go to the field and record some stuff. So I took this out on multiple occasions. This is the first time I went out with Jason Cole. You can see he has his Connex unit, and he uses has the HDMI input going on here. And he was really impressed. If he was sitting next here to me, I would have him say a few words to you. But maybe I can get that and the actual review on rcgroups.com. So here we are. We're at NASHBRO, my event that I do every year, and I'm flying one of my favorite FPV winged craft. This is the Theory Type W. I want to say, if you're watching this, they tout this as a race wing, which is, you know, you can beef it up and make it faster and whatever you want to do. But as an FPV all-around wing craft, it's awesome. Everything is in the unit. It's ready to fly. All the equipment is good. And if you never flew FPV but were an RC pilot, this is the thing I would probably point you towards. It will get you in the air. It's small, so you can take it anywhere. It's pre-built. It's good. So here we are. I am sitting in a chair, and I thought, is it so simple? Can it really be this simple? I push the button, I hear the beep, and here we are recording. And so when I do reviews, I want you to see what I see. But usually I'm going to a DVR unit, a separate unit, or I'm going to a monitor with a built-in DVR. And the thing is, that's not what I see in the goggles. I don't even know what the monitor's seeing until I get home and check it. So this is my solution to show you what I actually see when I fly. I have a smudge on my lens here. I did notice that when I was flying. But so for me, this has solved all my problems. For you, as just a guy, an FPV pilot, a race pilot, whatever, you want to record your laps or the fun that you're having with your friends, it's just so simple. Press the button, and then when you land, you press it, and it double beeps, and you know you're done. And then you pop the SD card in. It saves them as AVI files. I literally just pulled this off into my editor here, and that was that. Looks great, by the way, and this is what it looked like coming out of the goggles. What else? One thing to be aware of is that while there is an HDMI input on this unit, you cannot record HDMI with it. That's a whole other setup that you have to put together. For any recording DVR situation, you can't just record HDMI. So be aware of that. Other than that, it's pretty intuitive, super simple. Micro SD card, 32 gigs is what I have in there. It does not come with the SD card again, so be sure you have that ready. And yes, this solves my DVR problem. What year is it? 2017? And finally, I have a headset that works with my eyes, has DVR. I can put whatever receiver I want on there, 1.3, which I'm about to do. It's running 5.8, as you see right here. So I have lots of options. Wireless head tracking. That is cool. If you're running the right radio, you can use that. I have done that in another video, and I like it. I like the aspect ratio. I like the FOV. I like all these things. And one thing I didn't say is that, once again, this is not a diversity receiver, but as you can see in the pasture here, I couldn't feel a difference. That's me. Maybe you're super sensitive and you can feel a difference, but me, this receiver on this headset was as good as the diversity on my previous headset. I have no problems. So there you go. I believe I'm getting ready to land. And I have one more little piece of video that I shot. I'll talk a little more, and that'll be the conclusion and the wrap up. But I'm a huge fan. So let's jump over. Am I going to land now? Coming down low. There's all the tents. Pretty good turnout this year. And I didn't land. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to jump out of here, let this airplane land, and we'll get on with the video. So that's going to take us to the next thing I use this card for. 1 second. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I was at my own event and I thought, I have these goggles, I have a DVR, and I know that there's a camera on this airplane just for fun. Why don't we record it? And then I thought, well, I have no idea what I'm going to get here because this is a gas plane. And so not only did I get to go along for the ride with this glow plane, actually not gas, I was able to record this killer footage. And so this is a whole nother part. I mean, you could go to an event or a race or whatever and not only ride along with somebody else on their unit, you could actually DVR it right off your headset. It's just so simple and so easy. It sounds like I'm selling you, but it's true. It's pretty amazing. So look at this. The vibrations have leveled off here, and we're getting this. It's going to waggle a little bit, but so cool. And let's talk about the other thing I like. HDMI is cool. I don't know that I'll be a Connex guy anytime in the future, but at least I know my goggles will be there for me if I need them. But when I switched from 4.3 aspect ratio to 16 by 9, I was like, hold on, because I had the old goggles with me and the new goggles, and I A/B'd it, and I was like, holy cow, this is really, really nice. I also noticed, at least I think it felt that way to me, that I was getting better, a better video signal through these goggles. So looking into greens or into a sky, I felt like I was getting better definition. Maybe it's just me, but I was able to A/B them, and so that was cool. The wireless head tracking, I do have an article on this. I will link to it in my RC Groups review. And in the wireless head tracking, if you have the right receiver, I have a DX6E. You can then just move these goggles around left, right, up, and down to control your, holy cow, we're getting pretty vibrational here. You can move your head around, and it will run wirelessly off the goggles. Very great. And then, of course, these are Fat Sharks, and we all know that the quality's there, and what's not to like. So in the end, holy cow. I'm laughing at the video. In the end, these are my new goggles. All the other goggles, I carry extras so people can ride around with me or whatever. Those have been put away, and I am running these as my main set. There's really nothing more I can say. If you watch my reviews and what I fly and what I like, mostly at this point in time, I'm flying wings and winged FPV craft. These are the goggles I will reach for. The other goggles are for the passenger, and that's how it is right now. So I love them. I hope this video has helped. The DVR is awesome. It's worth the price alone just for that, but it has so many more great features. Go check them out. Go read my review. There'll be more photos and a little more verbiage, although I don't know how much more a man can talk. I'm Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. Thanks for joining us.